Hey there, sweet friends. Welcome to day 12 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. If you're just joining in, you can find links for the first 11 days at the top of the description. I'll be hosting a giveaway today, so make sure to listen throughout the video for the question of the day and for details on how you can enter for your chance to win. Today we're going to be creating this very fun scene card with a faux globe, and that means that I am creating my own snow globe effect. And this was very easy to accomplish with pretty basic dies. I think you will enjoy creating a project like this. And if you think so too, then stick around and we will make it together. So we're going to be working with the It's a Wonderful Christmas collection from PhotoPlay paper. And for some reason, this kind of gives me Swedish vibes. And I'm not exactly sure why, but maybe it's because of the little A-frame and the houses on the mantle. But this is going to be a perfect collection for our faux globe today, and I was so inspired by this pattern in that collection. It reminded me of a dark winter night with a gentle snow falling, and that's just me romanticizing winter. I definitely do not like winter, but it kind of gives me that crisp, wintry evening with the snow falling vibe. And so we're going to start with that. That is going to be our background, and I will layer that on this sweet kind of evergreen and berry pattern. So I'm also going to be utilizing the sticker sheet here for our sentiment and one of the elements in the snow globe. And I also have some beautiful glitter paper, and I'm going to cut some of the elements with some dies for that. I have a standard 6.5 by 5 greeting card. I always like to finish the inside with the coordinating papers just to make it a little bit nicer and fuller. So the cardstock is 6 3/8 by 4 7/8, and the pattern paper is 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. This is going to be the same measurements that will be on the front of the card, right in the center. So we're going to get a border of the cardstock as well as the base. For the front, I do want to include a layering pattern, so this would just be the opposite side there, and I'll go ahead and utilize that border that we already have. So now the base is done, let's set that aside and work on our faux globe. So here is that beautiful snowy winter paper, and I was inspired to use the arch dies. We have shared these in a couple of videos back, and I really feel like if you invest in a die set, you're going to get more for your money if you use them for purposes other than which they are intended. And to me, this was the shape of the top of a snow globe, and so I'm trying to emulate that look with this. And so this is the size that I picked, and then I did cut that background. I'm going to utilize one of those cut apart images. It had some greenery here and that sweet little A-frame, and so I want to position this on this background and have the layers around it. So what I've done is I've pre-taped everything so that I can sort of work around where everything is going to go. So here is that snowy, this is the stitched hillside border from Lawn Fawn. I want to put one behind just so that I'm getting, a good depth for this scene card. I do love to make scene cards. I love to color stamped images, and so this is a way for me to make a scene card without having to go to all that work. But you see, if I put one of the hillsides behind and one of them in the front, we're developing a lot of depth for this scene. So I'm just going to adhere this, and then I will clip off the excess once I have it in position. And then remember that I had that just about right here. And then next is going to be that scene. So it is more important to me to keep the full image of this tree that has the snow on it than the larger one, because it will prevent me from positioning this higher up and getting all those layers that I want. So I am going to use my discretion on what gets to stay in the scene And I'll plunk this down here so that, remember, I want to keep that full tree in the image. I'm just going to position that right alongside that left side here. I'm going to peel this up now and start to cut the excess. This will be pretty easy because this is all outside edge. If you had to go into something, it would be a little bit more difficult, but this is a nice round corner here. You see how that kind of fills that in so nice now? And then I would do the same for this side as well. Got another one of those images from the sticker sheet, and I want to incorporate it somewhere. I can't put it in the background because the scale would be off. You don't want a 40-foot snowman, or maybe you do, but you typically wouldn't see that in a scene card. So I want to add that guy in between these layers, you see, and then we'll hide part of it with a small flower arrangement. So I know I want this one to be here. And this is sort of the best way to reverse engineer your images so that all of these layers, the scene layers, fall exactly where you want them to. This would be a place too where you could include a stamped and colored images if you like to do that. So here's my second hillside. I think we might get away without having to use the hot glue on this. If you have them overlapping, mostly overlapping, you would want to add a layer of the hot glue just so that you could get it into that texture so that you would have a good contact. But I think it will be okay because just a small amount of it is going to overlap. So I want to position this so that I get kind of an organic feel to the flow of the shape of that hillside. So let's put it here. We can go as far down as this. And then continue to cut along the side for the excess. And then every snow globe has some sort of base. And so I want to incorporate a layer of this wood grain. And so this wasn't actually part of this collection, but I did have a little scrap of it on my desk. So I figured that would be fair game to use. And now I definitely do want to utilize that hot glue because a good portion of this will be overlapping that glitter texture. Let me know in the comments if you like to create scene cards as well. I clipped this out with the same die so I know that it will match perfectly and line up. So that is going to be our faux globe. Let's add it to the front of our card now. All of these layers are going to make this a little bit heavy, so let's give ourselves a 2 glue combo here so that we know it's very secure. And then I'm just going to position that right on top of that beautiful pattern paper. I've cut a couple of bits of foliage here and one flower, so you can see we're going to hide part of where that snowman is That makes sense that he would be between those layers. If you like to use distress inks, I think that would be another good way to develop some depth if you were to distress the outside edges of these things and give it a little bit more definition of the layers. You see that can go here, and I'll just hot glue that on as one piece. And then last but not least, I did want to include part of a sentiment. And so I have some sentiment stickers here, some strips that came on the sticker sheet. And I knew that I had the one that I liked, but I wanted to split it into two sections. So it made sense to cut off the colorful border, and that helps it to look a little bit less clunky as well. And so I have Home for the Holidays, which I think is pretty fitting for this scene. So I'm just going to position this one because I know I need the wider bit to fit exactly where I want. And then this one I'm going to line up on that same side. And that will sort of fit in the shape of that faux globe. So now details for our giveaway. We will be giving away this sweet little Christmas card that we created today to one lucky winner. To be eligible, you must comment on all 12 of the questions of the day. You must be a subscriber to the channel. The contest is open to residents of the continental United States only. You may enter only one time per person. You can enter as soon as this video goes live, and you'll have until 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the 29th of July. We'll be sharing a special prize drawing video on the 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining us for this series, and good luck to everyone who enters. That's it for our tutorial today. I sure do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Check the description for links. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.